Well, it's a very good afternoon and welcome back to another pre-match show here at the Banksy Stadium ahead of today's game against Colchester United. Matt Taylor and his side will be looking to return to winning ways and build on the point that they picked up on Tuesday night against Crawley Town in a game that was here at the Banksy Stadium. We're going to take a look at our pitch side camera which caught Brendan Kiernan's opening goal in that game later on in the show. We're also going to take a look back at a memorable win here at the Banksy Stadium against Colchester United in a game back in March 2016 when 2 goals in 2 minutes from Tom Bradshaw and Matt Preston secured the Saddlers all 3 points. We're going to also have an injury update from head coach Matt Taylor, who confirms that captain Josh Labadie will miss this afternoon's game, having picked up a groin injury in Tuesday night's game against Crawley Town. I'm also going to be joined by my colleague Paul Joannou as ever as we take a look back to Tuesday night's game where we talk about the good things and the bad things, as well as looking ahead to this afternoon's 3 o'clock kickoff. First up, we have got that pitch side camera of Brendan Kiernan's goal.
Sponsored by Gilbert and number 7, Brendan Kiernan.
So that was Brendan Kiernan's opener on Tuesday night with a fantastic pass played through by Emmanuel Osadibe. We're now going to take a look back at that memorable 2-1 win here at the Banksy Stadium back in March 2016. So those were the highlights from our win here at the Banksy Stadium against Colchester in 2016. We're now going to hear that injury update from head coach Matt Taylor, who confirms that captain Josh Labadie will be missing from today's game. Tuesday night, Josh Labadie seemed to limp off injured. How is he ahead of this weekend's game? Any other fresh injuries coming into it?
Yeah, Josh won't be available for that game on Saturday. Obviously Tuesday, I think he's pulled his groin. The severity of that injury we don't know yet. It's still too soon post the game on Tuesday, but I'm sure that Josh will do everything he can do to be back with the group. In terms of other injuries, I think Connor had a slight issue. Hopeful that he'll be fit for the weekend. But what we do have at the moment is real competition for places in the midfield, in the defence, and obviously in the top part of the pitch. So we will be picking a team that we feel is capable of going and winning the game, but we have to be aggressive, and aggressive with our movement, aggressive with the ball, but more so we've got to show a real endeavour to want to outwork the opposition, and it's going to be a tough game. Every game at this level is a difficult one, but one I'm excited about, and as I just said, we need to take 3 points at home.
So that was the injury update from head coach Matt Taylor. I'm now joined by my colleague Paul. Paul, as always, thank you very much for joining us on our pre-match show. We'll go back to Tuesday night's game. It may have been frustrating for a lot of reasons, but it's another point on the board and another point closer to the goal that everybody's trying to achieve here, and hopefully it's a platform for us to build on going into today's game.
That's right, Tom. Yes, I think it's fair to say it wasn't a very good performance, wasn't the best performance in the world, but having said that, when you don't perform to the levels that the manager expects or to the levels that you're capable of, it's still important to take something from the game, and that's what the Saddlers did. There have been games where the team have performed to a higher level and took nothing from the game, so I think it's important that we still managed to get something from the game. Obviously it was a really well worked goal and a good finish by Brendan Keane, and that was 2 in his last 2 appearances, so he'll be pleased with that. And the Saddlers did take a point from the game. I had a look at the stats after the game. I think it was 61% possession. I think we had 9 shots and 5 on target. So there was chances there was opportunities there, whether it felt like there was or not, that there was opportunities there. I remember Rollins' chance in the second half. So the Saddlers could have actually won it. So there is enough from that game to take into today's game. Yes, of course, I think Matt Taylor said it himself. He wants to see an improved performance from Tuesday night, and a very important game here against Colchester United. Yeah,
it's our final home game before before Christmas Day. Obviously we travel to Swindon Town next week, but it gives us a perfect opportunity now to try and, like I say, build on a point in the week, because if you can take 4 points from 2 home games, if you can continue to do that throughout the season, picking up constant points at home, that again can push you to the next level, can't it?
Yeah, I think you're right, Tom. I think when you looked at the games coming into Tuesday and Saturday, Crawley and Colchester, I think many would have said the minimum is probably 4 points. You'd want to be taking from those 2 games, ideally 6 points, but if you can't take 6, take 4. So I think that's what the team will be looking to do. 3 points would be a massive boost. I think it will, again, it keeps that sort of league run ticking. With those 2 cup defeats, it feels like a long time since we've won a game, but actually the league form has been steady. I think Matt alluded to it when he spoke to us earlier in the week, saying, compare the first 10 league games to the last 10 league games. I think the last 10 league games have been 4 wins, 2 draws and 2 defeats, and if you can keep that up, you'll be fairly well positioned in the table, won't you? So if that second 10 games is sort of at least repeated in the next block, then the Saddlers will be in a good position.
Yeah, and from that first 10 games, I think it was 9 points from them, and moving into that second 10, we took 16 with, it shows a real progression there, and it does show that, things are starting to work. And like you rightly point out, the 2 cup defeats make it seem as though, things have really started to drop in form, in momentum, but actually the league position, we are still only 6 points off the playoffs, albeit, I think we're 14th at the moment, albeit we're there, but the league is still extremely tight.
That's it. It just doesn't settle down, does it? I think with every game week it chops and changes, and one set of 3 points, whether you win them or you lose them, can really alter your position up or down. So it's a bonkers division, isn't it? And it's really tight. So you've just got that word. I think it's been the buzzword recently, hasn't it? Consistency. It's just about being consistent and picking up points regularly, and winning more games than you draw or lose. It really is as simple as that. And I think if Saddlers can pick up a win today, then with the games so congested, if you can get that momentum now, it's a really good time to get it.
Yeah, it certainly is, and obviously we welcome Colchester today. Very similar to ourselves in terms of form. I think we've won 2, drawn 2, lost 2 of the last 6, and they've done exactly the same as well. So I'm expecting a fairly even game. Would you say that's going to be a fair assumption today?
Yeah, their form seems quite patchy, I think it might be fair to say. Well, having said that, in the league, I think it's just 1 defeat in 4, albeit a couple of draws in there. So they're quite steady at the moment, I think, and they've got some good players. Freddie Sears, he's played in the Premier League, hasn't he? He's got 9 goals, I think, already this season. So they've got some threats. They've got quite a few players who came from Ipswich in the summer as well, I noticed. So a bit of League One experience in their ranks. So it'll be a tough test. Hayden Mullins, similarly to Matt Taylor, first real job as a head coach in the EFL. So, you know, I think you're right, Tom. I think there are similarities between the two teams. So I'm expecting a close encounter.
Yeah, and as always, we can't wait to welcome you back here to the Banksy Stadium. If you are heading to the ticket office, please allow yourself a bit of extra time. We are expecting some queues for people who are collecting tickets. You can beat those queues by buying your tickets online. Just head to our e-ticketing website. And finally, I would just like to say thank you as always for joining us on our pre-match show, for supporting us on our pre-match show, and come on you Saddlers.